I imagine a future that is kinder, fuller, and more imaginative than the world I hope we've left behind. A world where the gap between the haves and have-nots was getting so wide that many of us were falling through the cracks of society, and a world where a pandemic kept us apart and tore us apart. So during the year, I make it a point to speak with brilliant minds whose ideas give us hope, like Chen Dongxiao in Shanghai, who has spent years of his life working on that future I describe. What fascinates you about the relationship, and why should we care so much about what American and Chinese ordinary people do together?
I remember when I was still a young guy, about 8 or 7 years old, many years ago, the first picture, which has really impressed me, was an American fictional story about the future of the world. And this film deeply impressed me about how sciences and technologies can transform the world. I began to understand that China could not close its door. Even during that period, I was still in my only primary school. I know that it's very important for China to open its door, and for Chinese people to have more understanding about what is going on outside. That film, when I was very young, but I still believe that such kind of a film really impacted me so deeply.
But with a pandemic still raging across continents and communities, coming together has never been more challenging. That said, technology, if we can afford and access this, is helping inform, educate, and accelerate opportunities for the next generation. How should they take advantage of it? And what would you tell American and Chinese young people to do, especially as formal people-to-people exchanges are on hold?
If we are too obsessed with the so-called identity politics, then even if we are living in a digitalized world, even if we have a chance to access so many information, but we will confine ourselves to a very narrowly minded framework of the world. I think young people, whether you are in Washington, or whether you're in Beijing, or in Shanghai, or in New York, we have to recognize that the world has changed a lot. The emerging technology, they also transform our world, but they are still have a kind of a negative consequences, the so-called disruptive effect. Can we work together to manage those new challenges? But still, there are quite a number of people in a less developed or much vulnerable world. They are still suffer from a deep hit by the pandemic. Can the young people in China, in the United States, can work together to deal with those challenges? So I really call for those people to try to continue to see the connection between each other in this new context. We are living in the same world.
I still imagine a future where life is better than the one we have now. And I know that if we really connect, we have every possibility to thrive together. I'm James Chau. You're watching The China Current. Follow us on social media @The China Current.